and Nick.
Welcome to That Superhero Thing podcast, where we discuss the latest superhero and comic book movies and TV shows. I'm your host, Nick, and joining me, as always, he ain't afraid of no ghost. It's Anthony.
Hi.
That was the nice intro. I thought of another one, but I didn't think you appreciate it. I was going to go with, he's strange, he's weird, and he don't look good. But I didn't think you'd like that one.
Gosh.
I threw it in anyway. You alright anyway?
Yeah, good mate, how are you?
Good. I'm excited. I'm trying not to touch my face because I've just realised we are on video.
It's weird we're not in the same room now.
It is, it's weird, isn't it? Is it nice? Yeah. Is it not nice? It's weird, it's different.
Pros and cons.
For all our listeners who don't know, as well as dropping the episodes from now on your favourite podcast listening platform, we're also going to be, as we are now, live on YouTube every week.
Yeah.
Streaming, which is, it's different, but yeah, it is what it is. It's the new way we're going to do the show, I suppose. So if you're listening now on Apple Podcasts or anything like that, head over to YouTube, just search us, That Superhero Thing on YouTube, and you can subscribe from there, and then you'll be able to watch us every week if you want. You'll watch it once and you'll be like, nah, I'm not watching them idiots again. I'll just listen to it from now on. But yeah, you can do it however you want. We like to give you options, as we always say. Should we talk about what we're going to talk about this week? Yeah.
Yeah.
So on this week's show, we're going to be breaking down all the latest comic book movie news, including all the Disney Plus Day announcements. So there were new show announcements. There were some teasers. So we're going to go through that. We will be talking about the brand new Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Dead excited to go through that and break that down. We'll then be giving you a full breakdown and review of Ghostbusters Afterlife before discussing your thoughts and theories in this week's Pod Fans Assemble. This is also your spoiler warning. There will be spoilers and speculation throughout the episode. If you want to skip ahead to the news, trailer breakdown for Spider-Man, Ghostbusters review, or to Pod Fans Assemble, then we will put timestamps in the description like we always do. News then. I was going to start with news. Do you know what? Screw it. Let's just go straight into Spider-Man. Should we just crack on with the Spider-Man trailer?
Yeah.
What stupid question. What did you think?
Okay, so I love that there's still no confirmation of Andrew or Toby.
I do. I'm dead impressed.
Genuinely think we're still getting them. Yeah, but I like that it's not been shown still. I like that they're still keeping it under wraps. Even though the rumors are flying constantly, I like that we're getting nothing from them. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. And to be fair, there was one definite reveal in the trailer, which probably shouldn't have been there in the Brazilian version of the trailer, where you saw Lizard get punched by John Cena or nothing, or whoever it was. Clearly it's going to be Andrew Garfield. I watched one of our listeners, Dave, who's on the chat as we speak, which is weird because he's there. Hi, Dave. He sent me a link this afternoon to a YouTube video from Everything Always, and they were breaking down like errors in the trailer. So they showed you the one with Lizard getting punched. There was one where there was just a random Spider-Man arm just floating in midair. So they'd obviously had erased either Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield, but not noticed his arm. So there's just a random Spider-Man arm floating in one frame. It's just random. And then there's a few shots where you see what we think is Tom Holland's Spider-Man. But if you actually look at the face, the mask lenses aren't as small as Tom Holland's usual lenses. They're like pretty big ones, like Andrew Garfield has on his costume. So they think that what's happened is they've put like a skin over Andrew Garfield Spider-Man to make him look like Tom Holland's for the trailer, and then obviously just not change the eyes. But even if they hadn't made all those, let's call them cock-ups for want of a better word, I think it's still obvious in it from the story where we're going. We've got to be getting Tobey and Andrew.
There's also speculation over, so at the end of the trailer you've got MJ falling, and Tom Holland Spider-Man not being able to quite reach. The close-up of the hand apparently is a slightly different suit.
Yeah,
So there's also a question of whether It's also a question of whether that is Tom Holland or whether that is one of the other Spider-Men coming in.
Or Miles Morales.
Maybe.
Some people are saying.
Could be. But it could, because we've talked about the flashback of Gwen's fall, in Andrew Garfield.
Amazing.
So maybe it's Andrew Garfield finally saving somebody that is having that fall.
I think that would be a really good shout, to be honest.
Yeah.
I worry that it'd take away from Tom Holland's character a little bit, but I think it'd be good to give him, to give Andrew Garfield's Peter a bit of closure. Because I assume he should have got a bit of closure in the third movie, but he obviously never got it. So it'd be quite good to see him finally sort of save the girl at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It gave us a look at loads of returning characters. So we got all the villains. So let's break them down. So we got Lizard. He looks exactly the same as he did in Amazing Spider-Man, but I'm gonna say there's no problem with that, but I don't know. I feel like if they're tweaking the other's designs, they could have potentially tweaked them a little bit and made them look like maybe like the cartoons or the comics with like the longer snout rather than Voldemort, basically, which is what he ended up looking like. It's got me wondering though, and with him and with Sandman, we've obviously now seen Lizard and Sandman only for like a couple of shots each, but I've not seen any mention of whether Rhys Ifans is back as Connors or whether Thomas Hayden Church is back as Sandman. Because you're not seeing them I know obviously we've not seen loads of set photos and they're doing a good job of keeping most of it under wraps, but I do wonder whether they'll come back or whether they're just gonna come through as like this ginormous Sandman and Lizard.
Or maybe.
Or whether we're gonna get the actual actors. I think the fact that we now know we've got Lizard as well, we were talking in the last trailer, weren't we, about saying whether the lizard-looking figure in the background that slashes at Tom Holland is Lizard or whether he's Venom. This has got to confirm it. This has got to confirm it's Lizard, isn't it? Do you think we're going to get Venom in the movie?
I think we will.
Do you? It's got. I suppose he's got 2 hours and 40 hasn't he now?
There's enough time, isn't there? And they've literally put him
so much time.
Venom. The post-credit scene at Venom 2 literally put him in the moment where it's all happening, and that is where Spider-Man No Way Home is starting from. So he's in the universe at that moment. So if they didn't put him in, it just wouldn't make sense at this point.
No, I know. I wonder whether he'll be in the movie, but whether he'll show up like at the very end, whether he's just going to sit there and sort of
maybe he saves MJ
at the events.
Who knows?
You're dying for somebody other than Tom Holland to save MJ.
I am dying for that to happen.
Anybody but Tom Holland needs to save her.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some other villains then. So we got Doc Ock. Obviously, he was the only one, apart from Goblin, I suppose, but he was the only one who we'd seen already, shall we say. Again, obviously, looks the same as he did in Spider-Man 2, which is not a problem in this case. He looks boss. They've done a little bit of de-aging, I assume.
Yes.
I think. You can tell. There was a few times.
A fair bit of de-aging.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, because there's a couple of shots in the trailer where he looks a little bit CG-ish. A little.
Well, he's supposed to be coming back from the moment that he was about to die in Spider-Man 2, isn't he?
Yes.
So
but then it makes me wonder why is he
20 years ago?
Oh my God, was it? Maybe
I don't know.
20
maybe
years.
just a bit under, something like that. So obviously, like they would need to do that work to make him look as he did in that moment. Do you know what I mean? But I got really excited over hearing Willem Dafoe's voice. I'm not gonna lie.
I did as well. I did.
He was my favorite villain of all time.
Do you think they're going to de-age Willem Dafoe as well?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I honestly don't know how it's going to work.
And then, do you know what? Another question: are they going to de-age Toby? So is Doc Ock going to
he's like,
not aged at all? Now? Gandalf, it's not that old. It's like all the fan art's got him with like a big grey beard and like bald and white hair. It's like he's not that old. He's like 40. It's not that old at all. The other thing with Doc Ock though is why is he now bad? And if he is bad, because he'd obviously turned good at the end of the last movie he was in, do you think he's going to stay evil for the whole film of this film? Because if anyone's going to sort of turn good or turn to the light side, I think it's going to be him, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it.
I don't know. I know what you mean. I can't.
I'm,
I want to talk about it, and I want to sort of theorize, but at the same time, I don't. I just don't want to know anything else, and I don't want to accidentally guess something either. Talk about, you mentioned Willem Dafoe there. Let's talk about Green Goblin. So, first time we've actually seen him. We heard the laugh. It was a laugh, wasn't it, in the first trailer? Yeah, and then obviously we've now seen him now. 2 different suits. So two different looks. So there's the original one, like the Power Ranger-ish suit. I think it looks better in this. They've tweaked it. They've tweaked that slightly. It's all CG rather than being an actual practical suit, but it looks better. And then we see him for like 2 frames later on in the trailer, and he's got like a completely upgraded suit. So there's no mask. It's not even like it's just battle damaged either from looking at it, because like the legs on it and the arms are all completely different. But yeah, that's going to be giving us something a little bit close to the comic, I suppose, isn't it? Without making him him green. Again,
I think I might be going too far into it, but it's just the speech that he does. I mean, he only says something like 2 lines in the trailer, but he's talking about Tom struggling, and it's like, how does he know as much as he knows what's gone on there? So I don't know whether there's more to it than we're aware at the minute, which again gets me more excited.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's going to be a lot more to it. I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot more to the whole film, but I think if there's one villain who's going to be leading the other villains, it's going to be Willem Dafoe. It's going to have to be Norman Osborn, But it looks like, again, picking it apart from the trailer, it looks like that bridge fight, there's Goblin and Doc Ock. So it looks like the 2 of them are going to be fighting Tom Holland at the same time. I can't. It's weird they're going to be them like working together. It's just going to be, I don't know. I'm just trying to think in my head where the story's going to go to sort of get them sort of teaming up. I do wonder whether there's going to be. I mean, we'll talk about the last film that we've seen in a second, but I think there must be a Sinister Six here. So I reckon there's going to be another villain who's not just.
I've never doubted
I don't think
that.
It's just going to be Venom. I think there's going to be somebody else controlling this. Do you know what? I thought it anyway, but one of the reasons I think, because I was literally just scrolling through YouTube this afternoon when I should have been working, and Jimmy Kimmel did like a little short on it. It must have been like over the last couple of nights, and it was basically him dressed up as Kraven the Hunter, and they were making a big deal as to he was the secret 6th member of the Sinister Six, and the fact that they're doing that makes me think there must be a sixth member in this, because unless you're like a diehard Spider-Man fan, I don't think you'd question whether, the fact that there's only 5 villains and where's the 6th one. I don't think most people know about the Sinister Six, so that makes me think that there's going to be one, and it's going to be hopefully not just Venom. It's going to be someone we don't know.
Yeah, it has been talked about for quite a long time now, the Sinister Six thing, and it was the moment that we got the first trailer, I think, really. But it'd be cool to be somebody new. It's got to be someone that you'd instantly recognize, though, as well in it. It's got to be easy for the fans. That's all I'm thinking. So I don't know whether they can do it for the hardcore fans. So part of me has thought, could it be Vulture? Because we haven't seen him in the trailer at all.
No.
And
he's filming.
Obviously, he's been mentioned he is filming at the minute, and we have seen him in a clip for Morbius as well. So there's also, like, I don't know. I mean, could Morbius make an appearance?
More, could do, But I think they're trying to put him as like a bit of a anti-hero again, like along the Venom line, like not a pure villain, but not a complete good guy either. And that's why I think I'd struggle with it being Venom or even Morbius. Maybe it's Mephisto. maybe it's evil Doctor Strange Mephisto. Oh my God. It could be. Honestly, you never know.
We're genuinely going to have a celebration on the episode that Mephisto ends up in the MCU.
When we finally get Mephisto in the MCU.
It's going to happen. So long.
It's going to happen. It's going to be episode 674 of That Superhero Thing podcast, but it's going to happen.
I thought you were going to say 666. That would have made more sense. I missed that.
It would have made much more sense. I just thought big numbers, and 676 is the highest it can count to. Last villain then that we see in the trailer, Electro. So Jamie Foxx's Electro is back.
Much better
It's like the biggest glow up in comic book movie history.
Honestly.
He looks so much better. It can't be the same Max, whatever his name is. It can't be the same character.
No,
because he looks cool. Do you know what I mean? Rather than like this little, he's not blue, which is obviously a big giveaway. He looks so good though. I love the mask. Like when he powered up in the trailer and he got like the electric mask around his face. Apparently, the reason they made him blue in Amazing Spider-Man 2 was because they couldn't think of a way of making the actual costume work on screen, and then they've given it to Marvel. They've given it to Marvel, and they've made the original costume work on screen.
And they've gone, here's one I made earlier.
Well. Exactly, yeah, exactly. We know what we're doing, sort of thing. Do you know what? Because of how crap he was in Amazing Spider-Man 2, I'm probably most excited to see him now in this, just to see what they do with the character, and not him just like this little weirdy blue dude.
I must admit, I was really gutted just thinking about the Sinister Six thing. I was really gutted we didn't get to see Rhino properly. Yeah, well, he could be. I was all for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see him, and I think it'd make sense for him to come in as the sixth member. But I've got a feeling that whoever is the sixth member is going to be the brains of the operation.
Do you
get what I mean? Or potentially, not necessarily. Maybe it is the one who pulls them through, and he's the one who does it. Because I'm still not convinced that Doctor Strange would do that spell.
I don't know whether it'd be too soon, but do you reckon it could be an alternate Mysterio?
Oh, can you imagine? I said this on Twitter the other day. Can you imagine if we got to the end of it and the whole thing was an illusion? There's no Toby, there's no Doc Ock, there's no...
Mate, that would be like the end of Lost all over again, and I'd just be so angry. It was
all just Mysterio, or it's all just 14-year-old Peter Parker wakes up and the whole MCU was a dream. Can you imagine? That's it. Done. Finished. Finish the whole thing.
And that's how we get Toby. It's Toby that wakes up from Tom Holland's.
Yeah, can you imagine? Toby wakes up, yeah. That'd be good. No, I don't want it. I think I kind of be all right with the I'd be all right with the Mysterio thing, but we need to continue the MCU. So a few other bits from the trailer then before we move on to the rest of the news. So there's they're pushing this Doctor Strange versus Spidey fight. Yeah, it is a fight. They're flying around on a train, aren't they? I still can't wrap my head around what that's about. I feel like with the trailer they were trying to push it along the lines of Doctor Strange wants to kill these villains with something or in some way, and Peter doesn't agree with it. So I wonder whether that's the fight. But I'm just not buying that Doctor Strange would want to kill all these people and that he'd do this spell, because he's pretty he's a pretty serious, doesn't take any risks sort of dude, isn't he? So it just surprises me that he'd be like, well, let's have a go, winking at the camera and all that sort of stuff.
Well, it sounds to me like the idea is that he's doing his spell, and whatever Peter's talking about not wanting it to be everybody, it mucks up the spell. So this is essentially an accident, and then when Strange is looking at the outcomes from the alternate universes, it's that all the characters that have come through were meant to die in their own reality, and
but they weren't.
We
said this last night.
No, I know. Well, we said most of them, but it wasn't all of them. But this is what the trailer. This is what is coming across with the trailer, is that he's making out that they were all supposed to die. So Peter's supposed to kill them because they can't go back, because they go back to a world that they're not supposed to exist in anymore.
Okay. So do you know what? I hadn't even wrapped my head around that, but I get that. Yeah.
So I think it's something to do with that, and then Peter ends up being like, "But I'm not a killer. That's not what my thing is." So whatever that box has to do with it, he goes to take the box, and that's why the fight then begins, because I think it's more that Strange is trying to get the box back from Spider-Man.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get that now, yeah. I couldn't really wrap my head around Doctor Strange just wanting to kill him and going, they're supposed to die, well, we need to finish the job. But now that you've said, look, that if they go back, they are going back to a world where they are dead and they can't be there because they died. That makes complete sense now. I'm still not buying the fact that he's done the spell in the first place. That's the only thing I'm not completely on board with. But yeah, we'll see. A couple of things that I noticed then. The Statue of Liberty. I think we'd heard rumors that they were going to give the Statue of Liberty a shield months ago, but it seems like that's the way they're going. I'm not 100% sure what I think about that, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. I was going to say to see her with the shield, but clearly we're not going to see her with the shield because the whole thing's going to collapse according to the trailer. And then the last bit, did you pick up on when it was one moment in the trailer, and I think it was around the time when Doc Ock like pinned Tom Holland to the underway of the rail of the motorway or the bridge.
Yeah, when he's upside down.
Yeah, his arm, some like red is he's got like the silver or grey gunmetal arms that he's had, and then this red stuff like runs across it.
Flecks of red.
Yeah,
it looks like dark technology. Well, it looks. Yeah, it looks like that. Iron Man-y, doesn't it?
I'm wondering whether, because it looks like it looks a bit like Tom's not. Do you know what? I think I'm putting this together in my head. Right, I'll get there in a second. I'm wondering whether the only way you can beat Doc Ock, because it looks like he's absolutely hammering it, is to put the is to basically like lock up his arms with nanotech. And if you look at the bit where he pins him to the wall, at first Tom's got the Spider-Man mask on, but no Spider-Man suit. And then when Doc Ock goes to sort of like hit him in the chest, the suit moves from his face, and his face it becomes visible, and then covers his chest as well. So I'm wondering whether he's basically
you're not Peter.
Yeah, but I'm wondering whether he's like when Tony fights Thanos and he's running out of nanotech and his suit's getting smaller and smaller. I'm wondering whether he's thrown like half of his suit at Doc Ock to lock up his arms, and that's why he's moving the suit up and down his body rather than being completely covered. So I'm guessing that's what it is. But we've not got long to wait. It's 4 weeks away, less than 4 weeks. 15th.
I'm so excited.
15th of December in the UK. To our US listeners, it's the 17th of December, so we're going to get it 2 days earlier over here. Feel sorry for my brother. My brother lives in Hong Kong. He's getting on the 23rd, so he gets he gets a whole week later. So we'll still be in the middle of Hawkeye. Second to last episode of Hawkeye when Spider-Man comes out. So Spider-Man will be a bonus episode that week. And we'll be recording it. We'll do live stream, and we'll be recording it on the 17th on release day. So you can go to the cinema, you can come home, and then you can listen to us waffle on about it for probably 2.5 hours, like the movie. To be fair,
hopefully it'll be that good that the first 20 minutes of our chat will just be us going.
Amazing. Should we do the news now? Because we skip the news. Let's do the news. Yeah, let's do the news. Probably the biggest, to be fair, the biggest news has been Spider-Man No Way Home, to be honest. But going back a few days before, we had Disney Plus Day, and we had loads of announcements at Disney Plus Day. So most of it was Marvel related, or most of the biggest announcements were Marvel related. We got logos, we got announcements. There were a few shows that hadn't been announced previously. So talking about the previously unannounced shows, there was the confirmed Echo. Finally, so we'd known about it for months. It had been rumored that we were getting the Echo spin-off for months, but that's now been confirmed with a title card. Agatha, House of Harkness. So again, that had been rumored, but that is now confirmed. I still don't know how I feel about it. I still don't. I'm still not convinced she needs her own show. We've got Marvel Zombies. So I don't think that had been mentioned, had it? Marvel Zombies TV show. I think somebody had mentioned like a project, but not a whole series or anything like that. And then we got Spider-Man Freshman Year, so that's been announced as well. So that's a new animated Spider-Man TV series. I'm guessing that's just going to be along the lines of the biannual Spider-Man cartoons that seem to come out, and they seem to like reboot it every 2 years or something like that. What are you most excited about from them? You think I'd have to go Marvel Zombies, because we don't know who Echo is really at this stage, do we?
No, and that's what I was going to say, because we've not got a lot to go off for that. Again, and I kind of understand what you're saying about the Agatha House of Harkness, but I think Catherine Hahn will pull it out the bag, whatever it ends up being.
Think she'll.
I've got no doubt in her. Do you know what I mean?
I think she'll smash it as well. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure about it.
I feel like it's the first real one that kind of just is because of dollar signs rather than because it fits to the story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As much as we know that a lot of these are to make more money, like this one is the first one that feels like it's not needed.
No, I know what you mean. I think they could
Everything
do it
else has been
all
to
right.
set up events or set people up, where this just doesn't feel like it's doing that so much. So, but again, we'll see.
I'm gonna put this is live now. This is being recorded. So obviously, so my prediction. We've literally all we've seen so far is we know there's an Agatha Harkness series and we've seen a title card. I reckon that whatever it is, we're gonna go down the route of it being a prequel to Agatha and like how she.
Yeah, I was thinking it'd be a prequel.
Sort of and then at the end, we'll find out it's not. She's trapped in her head. Wanda's got her trapped in her own head. And that'll be what the whole series is about. Her trying to escape from whatever mental prison Wanda's put her in. And at the end, Wanda will come and get her out. And be like, shit, you warned me. I need help. I reckon that's where it's going to go.
Ooh, that'd be good.
I think that'd be decent. Should we talk about? Sounds stupid to talk about, but logos. So we got new, existing projects. We got a few teasers and logos for it. So we got a new logo for Ironheart. Which is going to be Riri Williams, who's going to be making a first appearance, I think we've already said, in Black Panther. We got a new logo for She-Hulk and a teaser. We got one for I Am Groot. Did we know I Am Groot was coming, actually? Were we aware of that?
I don't think I did.
Had that already been announced? I think it had, hadn't it? It must have been. We got a new logo for Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
We did, and we got a shot. We got a picture of Nick Fury looking like mega old. Did you see it?
I don't know if I saw that.
Yeah, there's a picture of Nick Fury, and he hasn't got the eye patch on, so he's got like the 3 scratches over his eye from Goose. And then he's got like a big grey beard.
Oh,
so he's looking like they made him look proper old. But I've downloaded TikTok again because Anthony keeps putting good videos on TikTok. So I downloaded that again and I watched one today. And it was it was a lady saying, sort of going down the route of how long has Talos been Nick Fury? And she's basically saying that this new Nick Fury that we've seen the photo of is the first time we've seen the real Nick Fury in a while. And she reckons that we've not seen the proper Nick Fury since Winter Soldier, since he got shot in Winter Soldier, and every time after that, basically he's been Talos.
That would be amazing.
Do you know what though? She kind of proved it because in Captain Marvel, he obviously when Captain Marvel says, "Tell me something that a Skrull wouldn't know," and he said, "I can't eat toast if it's cut diagonally." And Marvel are clever; they put these things in for a reason. If you watch him in Age of Ultron when he's at Hawkeye's house, he's making toast and he cuts it diagonally.
Oh, really?
He does, yeah. He cuts it diagonally. He does. You never see him eat it, but he cuts his toast diagonally, and then he picks up like a triangular piece of toast. And this woman on TikTok was like, "What? That they've put that in there so that we know that wasn't Nick Fury, or to keep us guessing."
That's amazing.
But yeah, talking about old Nick Fury far too long. And then the last new logo we got before we got onto the teasers was What If Season 2, which I'm kind of excited about, and I'm kind of. No, I'm excited. I think the first series was a little bit of a letdown. So I think they're going to have to do a cracking job of season 2. I think it's going to be hard for them to get people excited for it after that first season. Let's talk about teasers then. So we got 3 teasers. So we got a teaser for She-Hulk. So we got our first proper footage of She-Hulk. We actually saw her as She-Hulk just from behind. But we finally seen her sort of transformed. We saw her in like a cage with Hulk, talking her through how to transform and why the transformations happen, all that sort of stuff. And then we got, which people are taking the piss out of because they're saying he looks like a kid because he's got a pair of shorts and a hoodie on, and he just looks like it's just not Hulk, like big rage monster Hulk, and now he's stood there with a pair of glasses and shorts and a hoodie. And then we got some really weird like 60s, 70s clip of hair saying, "Don't make me angry, you won't like me when I'm angry," and Mark Ruffalo stood behind her with like a really weird 70s hairstyle. What the hell's that about?
I have no idea.
I
cannot wait.
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get why they've put that in. It looks good. It looks good though. I'm excited for She-Hulk. We got a Moon Knight teaser trailer. So we got our first look at Moon Knight's costume, kind of from afar. Anyway, we didn't see the mask or anything like that.
No.
And then straight away, what threw me, I assume it's Oscar Isaac talking over the teaser. What was that accent? He puts on like a really, really weird. He's like a British accent. He's like, all my life I've been really scared of everything in it. And that's go back and watch the teaser. That's exactly how he sounds. It's like a proper. It's like they've just given him. They said, Oscar Isaac, have you ever done an English accent before? No. Here's Oliver from the 1960s. Watch this. Watch this.
Here's Dick Van Dyke.
That's it. That's what they've given him. It's
Mary
not good.
Poppins.
That's exactly what it's like. Go back and watch it. It's not good. It just threw me straight away because like they're dark and gritty, and then it's him going, "All right, mate, I'm Moon Knight, innit?" And it's just like it just completely takes you out of it.
Do you reckon he'll tell us we're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off at some point?
I wouldn't be surprised. And then the last teaser we got some footage or some new footage from Ms. Marvel. But again, didn't really give a massive amount away. I know we'd had a teaser for it before, but I'm excited about that one. The only thing I'm a bit gutted about is that it's now going to be whenever it is. So potentially a year away or just under a year away. I'm guessing though, because of the order we showed them, I'm guessing we're getting She-Hulk first and then Moon Knight.
Yeah.
And then Ms. Marvel. But if Ms. Marvel's not coming out until the end of the year or like July, September or Q4, whatever, however you want to do maths. It's hopefully we get more than just She-Hulk and Moon Knight in between.
Yeah.
You'd think, wouldn't you? So
you'd hope.
Some couple of other reveals then before we go on the rest of the news from Disney Plus Day. We got the announcement of X-Men 97. So the new X-Men cartoon. So it's a full-on follow-up continuation from the original X-Men cartoon, which is absolutely amazing. And they've got not all of them, but they've got most of the cast back doing the same voices, and they've got loads of the production team back. So they've got Wolverine, Jean Grey, Rogue, Beast, Storm, Gambit, Mr. Sinister, and Nightcrawler all coming back to do their original
If
voices.
I remember rightly, Rogue was quite southern, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. Yeah. She sounded like what's her name? The girl from True Blood. Whatever the main character's name is in True Blood, that's what she sounded like. And then also the lady who did the voice for Jubilee, she's coming back as well. A lady called Alison Court, but she's not going to voice Jubilee because Jubilee's of Asian descent and Alison Court's not. They've basically got somebody else of Asian descent to come in and voice her, but they're still bringing Alison Court back, which is good. I'm probably more excited for X-Men 97 than I am for any of the other Disney.
Do you know what'll make me most happy about that? If they do continue with the same or a very similar music, if they just like update it a little bit.
It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be the tiny
that.
Yeah,
so good.
But only a little bit. We've said this before. Let's not do a Fallout Boy Ghostbusters. Let's just tweak it a little bit. Tweak it a little bit. That's it. And then the last reveal that we got a sneak peek at Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, which I am extremely excited about. I can't wait for this. So it was didn't give loads away. There wasn't any footage really. It was just concept art and a few behind the scenes shots. There was one of Hayden Christensen training with a lightsaber. So that's going to be amazing. Yeah. And it didn't confirm, but heavily teased that we're going to get Obi-Wan versus Vader again. But young Obi-Wan versus Vader. That's going to be amazing. I cannot wait to see them too. It's going to be like that. Remember I think I showed it to you. It's called like SC58 or something like that on YouTube. And somebody's basically recreated the Vader versus Obi-Wan fight. Like full Jedi powers where they're like all flipping and stuff around. Have you seen it on YouTube?
Yeah.
It's got to be like that. It's what we should have got basically. Last couple of bits of news then before we move on to Ghostbusters. So we have got HBO Max have announced that they are doing a Harry Potter 20th anniversary special, Return to Hogwarts. Have you seen this?
Yes.
So it's going to be like, I get the impression it's going to be like a Friends reunion.
Yeah, where it's like a bit of a talk show and they're all sat together.
Yeah.
A bit of nostalgia.
Yeah. Well, they've got Daniel Radcliffe back. They've got Emma Watson, Rupert Grint. So they're all going to be back for the interviews.
Yeah.
And pretty much, I haven't even written down the list, pretty much anybody, any big name who's ever been in Harry Potter is going to be there. Pretty much. Like Gary Oldman, Helen Bonham Carter, they're all going to be there.
But you know what?
Quite soon.
So from what we've heard over the years, this, like the behind the scenes of Harry Potter is probably one of the most genuine positive responses that we've ever had for filmmaking. You know, there's always trouble between a couple of actors, or arguments on set and things like that happen, which does happen. It's life in it, but it's always been so wholehearted when you've heard anything from anyone that's been on the set of Harry Potter. It's always just been overwhelmingly positive. So it'll be nice to see that many people back, to be fair.
Exactly, and they treat the kids really well. The kids will look like, when you see like flashbacks, but behind the scenes things of like Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint when they were like filming year 1 and 2, and they just look like they're having a proper laugh on the set rather than being bollocked for not doing things properly or anything like that. It looked like it was a bit of a free for all, to be fair.
Did you hear about what they did to his name's fell out my head now, but Hagrid, Robbie Coltrane. Robbie Coltrane. Daniel Radcliffe changed the language on his phone.
Did he?
So I can't even remember where it was, and they had to spend about an hour and a half, 2 hours looking for somebody who could speak the language or read the language so that they could change the phone back, because it was all, he couldn't change the language back. He couldn't go to settings or anything. And he said that was like one of the funniest things that Daniel did to him.
That's quality. I like that. I see, but all that'll be all the things that we get to see when it comes out.
It's just so funny.
It's on New Year's Day, so it's not like it's going to be.
Oh God, that's close like that. Then, isn't it?
Yeah, coming pretty soon. Other bit of news then. Catwoman, you sent me this. You sent me this bit of news. So Halle Berry did an interview with Jake's Takes, and she said that she'd love to reimagine and direct a more inclusive version of Catwoman. And do you know what?
When she says more inclusive, does she mean more good?
That's a nice way of saying it. No, do you know what? I read into it though, and I'm kind of all right with it. She basically said she'd want to do it where Catwoman as the woman was saving the world and not just stopping women from having their faces crack and trying it on with some dude. Basically, she basically said all the things that were wrong with Catwoman for the original movie, she'd get rid of all that and make it more something along the lines of Wonder Woman. But which kind of made me think maybe that'd be okay. I'm still not convinced. It's one of the worst. It's one of the worst.
She's another one that's an anti-hero though. Like the whole idea is that she's Catwoman because it's cat burglar, in it. It's that whole, it's the thieving thing, isn't it? But I don't know. It's just trying. I think it's just trying to push it too hard on her being a hero, and it's not quite like that for Catwoman.
I think they need to, if they're gonna, they need to spin it off a Batman film. At the end of the day, they need to introduce her, which obviously they are. They're introducing it in Robert Pattinson's, but they need to spin it off. Something like that. And then very last bit of news, something that has just been confirmed today. Scarlett Johansson is returning to the MCU for a top secret project, but not as Natasha Romanoff. Apparently it's not going to have anything to do with Natasha Romanoff. And instead of being the star of the project, she's going to be producing it. So she was executive producer of Black Widow. And apparently that's the first time any of the MCU stars have actually executive produced any of the projects. So she was the first one, and now she's going to come back as a producer. We don't know what it is. People are sort of guessing that it's going to be something to do with Yelena, maybe a solo project or a solo series or movie or something like that for a new Black Widow movie. But that would make sense. That would make sense if anyone's going to go and do that. that'd be the project, wouldn't it? But yeah, other than that, that is pretty much the news for this week and the trailer breakdown. Should we do Ghostbusters?
Yes.
Should we talk about Ghostbusters? We'll do a very brief non-spoilers because I just want to
get into it.
Spoil it. I'm going to spoil the movie. Without getting into massive detail, then I loved it. You know what my reaction to the movie was.
Oh my god!
I thought it was great. I don't think it was I say this a lot, but I don't think it was a perfect movie. I can see why some people wouldn't particularly not hate it. But I get why
it disgruntled
as good as I did. I get that. I get that as well. But I think the fact that we grew up with Ghostbusters and it was such a big part of our childhood and it had so much nostalgia, which we'll talk about in the spoiler review. I do kind of think that if you didn't have those memories of it and watching it as a kid, you might not appreciate the movie as much as we would, to be honest. It was. What else can we say?
This is the thing. So when Jason Reitman obviously announced that he was going to be doing this, the first thing he said was this was going to be a love letter to the original Ghostbusters.
Yes,
and it was the perfect explanation for it. That's exactly what it was.
It was 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what it was.
But it still had a solid story behind it, and there was nothing that felt like it was completely thrown in there for the sake of being thrown in there. It all had a reason and a purpose, and it all added to the events that took place. So
exactly,
I liked the fact that it kept moving constantly. It wasn't just let's put this in for the sake of putting it in. There was a reason for everything, and I really liked that about it.
I agree. And with you saying how sort of quick it moved and stuff like that, I feel like pretty much everything we've reviewed for months now, we've sat and gone, pacing issues, had pacing issues, this had pacing issues, that had pacing issues. This was perfect. It just didn't, it wasn't like you were knackered at the end of it because it was constant action or anything like that.
Yeah.
It had a really good mix of, pretty touching moments, loads of comedy moments, loads of action moments. Nothing massive action wise, and that's not spoilers. There's nothing huge in the movie, if you get what I mean. But it paced really well. At no point in the movie was I like, oh come on, next move on or anything like that, or what? Wow, that moved too fast. I don't get what happened. It was absolutely perfectly paced all the way through.
Yeah.
The music, we'll talk a little bit more about it in spoilers, but the music and the tone of the movie was perfect. The cameos in the movie, I'm not going to name anybody, we'll do them in spoilers, but there were more cameos than you think. I picked up on cameos from reading things today after having seen it that I didn't have gone to.
Oh really?
So we'll go through them as well. But it was just, and right, if you've not seen it yet, Dave, I know Dave hasn't seen it yet. That's why we've done the non-spoiler review. There's two post-credit scenes. There's one basically right after the movie, and then there's one at the very end. So anybody listening who's not seen it yet, make sure you stay to the end. Stay to the very end. We were the only people in there last night who stayed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the guy came in to clean out to sit there while we watched the last post-credit scene. But it was a solid. It was a solid post-credit scene. It was good. It was really good.
It was good.
But non-spoilers. It was boss. I loved it. It was full of nostalgia. Definitely played on the fact that, or for people who would have watched the previous ones and, fallen in love with them. But absolutely epic. Really liked it. Yeah. Should we do spoilers?
Yeah, let's do spoilers.
Let's do spoilers, right? If you've not seen it, pause, or if you're watching us on a live stream, sorry, leave so you don't spoil it. Come back.
Can I just point out? Jessica's just said FML. I missed the post credit.
Oh, gutted. Gutted, yeah.
Hey.
Well, you don't need to watch it. We'll explain it to you in a minute.
Well,
We'll explain it to you. We'll see what happened. So, spoilers that, right? We don't just have to literally spoil the whole movie, but in my head, having now, right, and my concerns about the movie were true and they happened. So in my head, I don't think I should have liked this movie because I didn't want something really, really cheesy, and it was full of cheese. It was full of cheese. I didn't want Kid Ghostbusters. I didn't want the old Ghostbusters getting replaced with Kid Ghostbusters. I hate it when things do that now, and I really didn't want that. I didn't want them to bring back Harold Ramis in CG. I really didn't want that to happen, but they did. And it didn't have a particularly big finale. There was nothing like grand, in New York or Manhattan with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. There was nothing with that. It was quite like enclosed and small. So on paper, it had so many things that I didn't want and didn't particularly like, but I loved it. It all worked perfectly, and it didn't just work because of the nostalgia element to it. It was just done so well, and it kind of the Kid Ghostbusters. It kind of made sense. It wasn't just here are 4 kids, here's your proton packs, crack on with it, or anything like that. It was done really well from a story perspective, and again, but the nostalgia did help massively, even from and as you said when we started watching it, the opening, we were still on the Columbia TriStar picture on the screen, and the theremin kicked in, and me and you were like,
I was like,
it was so good, and again, pacing wise, it didn't stop. It was just so well paced all the way through. I was hooked from the moment it started. And you said you turned around and looked at me, and I was just sat like that, watching the screen with my goblet open. I was just absolutely hooked. And I think the reason is because it took me back to being a kid, watching the Ghostbusters movies. And I kind of wonder whether that's why I was okay with the kids being Ghostbusters. Because even though I'm like in my 30s now, I kind of went back to being like, go on, kids, get the proton pack and get the ghosts. I enjoyed it so much. I think you hit the nail on the head as well when we were doing non spoilers then, when you're saying the nostalgia, that again was done perfectly. It didn't just throw loads of nostalgia at you and just try and get away with the movie off the back of that. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I just waffle. Go on. What do you think?
So, I loved everything about it. I mean, I know we essentially got the same villains that we did from the first Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
and so that's already established, and we know who they are and what they do, and all of that kind of stuff. So they didn't need to build that story up again, which I quite liked. They were just, you know who they are. Let's crack on.
Yeah, gave more time for character development, didn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, we all saw them in the trailers. The little mini marshmallow men. You know, it was funny. And at the beginning, we were kind of like, "Is it going to work?" You know, all of that kind of stuff. And do you know what it had a feel for me? Gremlins. The scene in the kitchen with the Gremlins. That's what it made me think of. Like the way they're all like messing about and stuff like that. It kind of gave me those feels. But then the fact that you know, we'll go to it later, but them chewing through the wires on the proton packs and stuff like that, you know, they weren't just there for the sake of being there. They added to the storyline and the events that were unfolding and things like that. So that's what I meant when I said, like, I like the fact that they were used for something rather than just being put in the film for the sake of nostalgia. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. And I think the mini puffs is a perfect example of what, again, another thing that we thought was just like, they're just putting something in here for the kids to like and sell toys and all that sort of stuff. But it worked perfectly.
I also love that they stayed true to the originals in the sense of we didn't over CGI everything. So I talked to you about the two beasts, didn't I? When we were having the close up of the beasts. They were it wasn't all CGI and stuff like that. They used puppeteering as well and things, and I really like that they kept that a little bit, because I think over the last couple of years we've realized that sometimes going back to those basics are actually better than spending all that money on trying to make it visually brilliant, because sometimes it completely backfires.
Yeah, like in the 2016 Ghostbusters where they were all like neon CGI messes.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So
it
makes such a difference.
I didn't like that.
No.
I did wonder how they were going to do it and what the ghosts were going to look like in this one. But I think they absolutely nailed it. Even if it wasn't, even the parts that weren't practical, they'd gone for. You could tell certain bits weren't, but they'd gone to try and make it look like a bit crappy and a little bit plasticky, because that's the feel. That's the feel of Ghostbusters. And I think that's the biggest. I think that's the biggest draw for me with this movie. It felt. We don't talk about what movies feel like. Do you know what I mean? We never do. We just normally complain about the pacing, but but it felt like a Ghostbusters movie all the way through. Even where, I mean, the music helped massively. The constant Ghostbusters. We knew the score of it.
The comedic music that I absolutely loved. Like when it was a lot of the time, to be fair, it was when Bill Murray was on screen. In the originals, that music that got played in the background constantly.
That one.
we got it a few times in this, and you just recognize it all instantly, and I absolutely loved every second of it.
Yeah, I did. And that helped massively. But even before we got the elements of the Ghostbusters that we'd seen before, it still just had that feel of a Ghostbusters movie, which again, and I'm not just sitting, the point of this episode isn't to sit and slate the 2016 one, but the 2016 one, apart from the name, didn't feel like a Ghostbusters movie at all. No. This did, and I think the fact that Jason Reitman was writing and directing it, and Ivan Reitman was there to oversee it as well, that's what helped massively. And it's like we've just said about the X-Men series. They've got the original production team back, and that's what they've done in this. They've got as many of the original team from something that was 30 years ago back. And it's just really helped to keep that tone. Should we talk about characters then? Because there was a fair few characters. We've got to start off, and obviously she's the main character, but Phoebe, played by McKenna Grace, I was absolutely in awe. She was so good. And do you know what? I mean, she was fantastic all the way through. The thing that got me when I sort of like IMDb'd her, I've seen her in so much stuff, but didn't realize she'd been in all these other things, because she's such a good little actor. Yeah, she's in. Have you seen The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix? Oh yeah, she's in that. She's young Thea. She's the one who can't touch anything. Yeah, that's her. And apparently, don't you watch Handmaid's Tale? Yeah. She's in the Handmaid's Tale. I don't know who she is, but I've read that on IMDb. I think she's quite a big character in that.
I was going to say the kids, even the biggest characters within the kids, they don't tend to have a lot of screen time. To be fair,
don't they? Oh no, fair play. But I mean, I've watched The Haunting of Hill House twice, because I watched it on my own because I'm very brave, and then I watched it with Jill as well. But I genuinely didn't even twig on to the fact it was her, and now it's obvious, but I didn't get onto it. She was so good, and I'd be quite happy for her. Obviously, from the end of the post-credit scene, if we do move ahead with the franchise, I'm completely happy with Kid Ghostbusters, with her sort of like leading the way.
Oh yeah,
she was so good in it. It was the awkwardness of her character, how constantly awkward she was, and didn't get it.
The jokes were so stupid and so funny. It's even when she tried to do the little ta-da, when she did the eyes, and she's like, it's a joke.
It was so good.
And
she was so good.
She just hit the nail on the head with it.
It was all the interactions. Do you know what though? And leads into the next one, but especially at the start, all her initial interactions with podcast, when she was like, I don't know how to talk to people. She just didn't know how to interact with people. And he's like super keen and he wants to be friends with everybody. And she's like, I'm being friends with you because my mum says I've got to make friends. And just the awkwardness of her being like, yeah, okay. okay, yeah, kind of. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
do you want to come and do this? Yeah, okay. She was so good. Talk about podcasts there. So Logan Kim played podcast.
He had me in fits all the way through, mate. Like, he was brilliant.
Completely stole the show. It was so funny.
Let's be honest, when he was talking about his podcast and stupid little things he was saying,
just like
me and you were just looking at each other and going, "Oh,
that's what I do." I'm going to get you on our podcast. Yeah. It's just so awkward. It was just not fun. It was fun to watch, but it wasn't fun to watch. Maybe that's why. Yeah. Maybe that's why I sort of like fell into it so much, because it was just like, this is just me. This is why I feel like a kid now. He had so many good lines. The end bit when he was fighting the little marshmallows, the little mini puff, and he ended up like instant at the end of the first movie, covered in it. And then his little interaction with Ray when he's like, "You're my subscriber," and he's like, "Oh, the podcast so really took off. Really finds its voice."
Yeah, that's it. It's so good.
He was made me laugh. So then we also had Trevor. So Phoebe's big brother Trevor, played by Finn Wolfhard. Again, he was really good. I thought he was just going to be like a copy and paste of Mike from Stranger Things, and he wasn't. He was totally a completely different. Totally again, dead, or not necessarily as awkward as Phoebe, but trying to be cool when he's not cool. Like 50, he's 15, he's trying to be 17, trying to get a job, trying to hang around with the cool kids. And he just, every time he's around Lucky, he just completely bottles it and just turns into like a quivering mess because he just can't cope. But the other thing was when he was driving the car, when they caught that Muncher ghost, he was like so impressed with himself, like when he's like flying around and all like all the faces that you don't see. He's quite quiet in Stranger Things, isn't he? He's a quiet kid, but to see him like really like elaborate, like when he's driving around and all that sort of stuff, it completely sold me on him. But I thought he was really good as well. Should we finish? Should we do? Let's go through Lucky. So Lucky was the other kid, Ghostbuster, played by Celeste O'Connor. She was good for what she got to do, but she didn't really get a lot to do.
She didn't stand out from it.
No, and I don't think that was her fault. I think she was just she wasn't really given loads to do. She was there purely to move the story forward. She was there linked to the town. Do you get what I mean? It was obviously they had the link to the town being Egon, but they needed somebody who was currently linked to the town and knew stuff rather than just podcast who's 10 and isn't allowed to go out after 6 o'clock sort of thing. But she was there to sort of push the story forward. She got a little bit to do towards the end because she ended up getting turned into a dog, didn't she? And she was the one who sort of shot Gozer when she arrived on the farm. But I think if we do move forward, we'll see a lot more of her. If we get another trilogy or sequels, go on to the adults then. So we had Sexiest Man Alive, Paul Rudd.
Oh my God.
Who does always seems to be in everything, but I don't know. He does. We said this last week. Like Tom Holland and Chris Pratt seem to be like a little bit oversaturated now because they're in everything, and I'm getting a bit sick of the both of them. But I'm just not getting sick of Paul Rudd. I'm all right with him. I'm all right with him being in absolutely anything.
It was funny because he was trying to be cool all the way through. But then you kind of work out how nerdy he is. And then I said this to you, the moment he ends up being possessed, he was movement for movement, exactly like Rick Moranis in the original. The way he was walking, the dazed look on his face, all of that kind of stuff. Like, it was just spot on. It was so good. And he had me howling. I'd forgotten that the windscreen was smashed. And when he runs to his car and dives through the windscreen, I genuinely nearly peed because it was just so funny. It was brilliant.
That just reminded me when the windscreen first gets smashed and they're driving up to the farm and Podcast just sat on the front like this, just watching it, just like with all the air coming in his face. It's so good. So good.
It was hilarious.
He did a really good job. Again, everybody in this movie was like super awkward, but Paul Rudd was sort of like went with it, didn't he?
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious how he's got all these kids in summer school and he gives them Cujo to watch and Child's Play.
And then Chucky,
and he's like, watch this. It's like if Beethoven had rabies and then mauled a load of kids.
And then he sacks them off to play with a ghost trap by the school buses at the back.
It's so good. The lines in this were just brilliant. Do you know what, though? Obviously, Jason Reitman's the one who wrote this. He wrote a really good script. I mean, we'll carry on the characters in a minute, but he did. I mean, I wasn't aware of him having done anything else before this, but
no,
he needs to. Whether it's Ghostbusters or not, he needs to carry on writing stuff because he wrote such a good script. All the jokes landed. I can't think of one that didn't really land. I was howling all the way through this, like most of the Marvel movies. But there needs to be
even down to like the direction, like as much as the whole bit with Egon and we finally see him and things like that.
Yeah,
the looks that Bill Murray is giving him, and then Ernie Hudson as well. The
Egon
way they keep looking. Yeah, the way
it's
they
Winston.
keep looking
it's Winston
at him.
that gets me because Winston's like the one who's right next to him, and he's like, it's not happy. I'm okay.
It made me
I'm nice to see you
because that, like, we were seeing the four of them together. Like, this is something we are never going to be able to see in real life, and this was like the four of them together one last time. And instead of it being like a big, oh my god, this is a beautiful moment, you've got them two looking at him as if to go, this is fucking weird.
I know. But that's what
it's how you would react so much.
It's exactly how you'd react.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the originals in a sec. But before we do, we've got to talk about Carrie Coon, who played Callie, or Callie Spengler, as we find out at the very end. So she's Phoebe and Trevor's mum. She was great as well. There was no weak link in this cast.
So good. No,
the weakest link in the cast was Lucky, but purely because she didn't get that much of a story rather than her doing the job. But Callie was amazing. Again, super awkward. Played the drunk, not particularly good mum very, very well. Like, I just wanted to go. Do you know what? Literally 10 minutes into the film, when she's like, I hope that Trevor's going, there's no bars on his phone, and she's like, I bloody hope there's a bar. And I was like, I'd go. I don't even drink. And I was like, I'll go to the bar. She just came across as being such a laugh. Exactly. And she bounced.
You know, I was going to say, even not in like anything to do with actual Ghostbusters, but the date that her and Paul Rudd are on in that, is it the Chinese
Chinese
restaurant?
Or something like that? Yeah.
Something like that, and the constant banter between them as they're talking to each other. It's literally back and forth. It's like a game of ping pong, and you're just watching, and every line is a good comeback to whatever's just been said. Like, they were just brilliant, even on their own.
Exactly, yeah. They bounced off each other so well. The amount of spin-offs you could get off this, like series and movies and stuff like that. I could watch that. I could just watch a sitcom just with them two moving together into the dirt farmhouse. I'd be well all right with that. I thought she pulled off the whole "there is no mom, only Zool" thing really well.
As soon as that happened, I was like,
when it started, I thought this is going to be the first bit I don't like, because it's going to be cheesy and it's going to be her trying to pretend to be Sigourney Weaver, and it was, but she did it really well. I completely bought into it. And when she's like running around it like a dog, basically. The only bit that took me out of it a little bit was when she like pulled off her clothes and this like gold dress flowed out of it. That took me out of it a little bit, but I was all right with it because it was just cheesy enough, and the whole sort of sex scene. That's how you do a sex scene, Marvel. If you're going to put a sex scene in a movie, do it like that. Have it be ridiculous and make us laugh. But she absolutely nailed it. So we got
bite a dandelion head off because it always wins.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So we got a load of the original cast back. So we got Annie Potts. Who's in it, and only for a brief moment at the start, and then she was in the post-credit scene. And then we got the original three back, who didn't feel out of place at all. I would have liked them to be in it longer, but again, I think that was before I watched it. I was completely okay with it once I watched it, with them just sort of popping up at the end to help.
Yeah.
And again, it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like, oh, they're just tacking them on or anything like that.
Yeah.
It worked, and I enjoyed it. And again, the whole thing with them staring at Egon was just brilliant. Had me absolutely howling.
Can we just address as well Bill Murray at his age flirting with her? Like, it was so funny, like, because it's just exactly as he was 30 years ago.
Exactly,
it just made me laugh so hard, because it was just rolling off his tongue. Like, it was just effortless, and it was just making me laugh so much.
I know, it's brilliant. The biggest thing I appreciated with the originals coming back was like where they were at, and we'll talk about Egon in a sec, but like where they were at. So Ray was doing the occult, Ray's occult book still. Peter is teaching at a university or something, like marketing or something like that. They've made Winston, who was always shoved to the back, and whether it was because he was black, which is obviously disgusting if that's the reason that they've done it, but he was always shoved to the back, and he was like the one who never really got any screen time, and they've made him the most successful Ghostbuster. He's running this big finance company. He's paying Ray's rent every month. Loved the fact that they did that, and they were like, right, we're going to make one of these Ghostbusters super mega successful. Let's let it be Winston. And even we'll talk about the post-credit scene, but he's the one who then tries to carry on the Ghostbusters as well. He wasn't even one of the original members, and he's the one who then tries to carry it on. Loved that. Love that. Let's talk about the elephant in the room then. Egon's return as a ghost. This I can see in the comments. This is divided people.
I was gonna say, this was the big divide, wasn't it, for everybody?
This is the thing that people don't like. Now, I didn't, again, I've said this at the start, I didn't think I like this. I'd like it. And normally when they do any like CG people, they don't look good. But also the whole idea of taking somebody who's died, basically, and putting them in a movie with CG, I think it's the mixed bag. It's like I didn't really like them do the Princess Leia one. I didn't like the two that they did with Star Wars. I think they were I don't know whether distasteful or just weren't done very well. And I don't but I think the reason that they weren't great was because they weren't needed. It felt like, oh, look what we can do. We can do this, so we're going to do it. Whereas if you look back at like Paul Walker in Fast 7, they needed to do that for the story because they were halfway through filming the movie. And again, I suppose that's more of an excuse really because of it. But then with this, it's Ghostbusters. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's sort of, if you're going to do it in a movie, this is the movie where you bring a deceased actor back with CG. If there's only one, and I don't feel like it was just, oh, we're going to do it because we can do it. And it was like it was a glorified cameo, but he was a central part of the story for the whole movie. And it was the payoff at the end. And that's why I was okay.
Do you know what I loved? They didn't even wait for the end to put in that little bit where they just wrote for Harold.
For Harold, yeah. I thought that was lovely. But it was kind of the end.
It was.
You mean at the end of the credits?
But yes, because normally what they do is they put it and then they put the date that they were alive for and all of that kind of stuff. Whereas as soon as that last scene with Egon in finished, they then just put that little section where they just said for Harold, and I thought that was really, really respectful. To do it that way. And as I say, something so iconic as the Ghostbusters, and he comes back as a ghost because he's gone. Like I just think it was the perfect way to do that for him. I
agree.
Again, there are people that really don't like that it was done, and I can also understand that to a degree.
I do, yeah.
But I don't think they would have made the decision lightly either.
No, I don't.
And I think it would have been a lot of conversations with family. Yeah, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I just think that the whole premise the movie lends to doing it.
Yeah, the thing for me was that there was no speech, and that's what I loved about it.
I like that as well.
Yeah, he didn't speak once. It was all essentially looks and gestures and things like that. And I quite liked it. There were people, I think people thought it went on a bit too long and stuff like that, but in order for everyone to get their closure, he had to have a moment with the Ghostbusters, he had to have a moment with the grandkids, he had to have a moment with his daughter, because they all had different ways of seeing him. And this kind of shows him that, yes, he was those things, but he was also protecting everybody. And this was the thing about it. Everyone thought he was being selfish. And then the whole idea was that he saw something coming, and even when nobody else believed him, he still tried to save everyone.
Yeah, even Ray telling Phoebe, Egon Spengler can burn in hell or rot in hell or something like that. He was hated by his friends. He was hated by his daughter. His grandkids didn't know him. The last moment he was there before he disappeared was him hugging Callie, and that was that was teary. Do you know what I mean? That was so well done. But the one, because we were texting each other this morning saying I can't stop thinking about Ghostbusters. I can't stop thinking about Ghostbusters. It was when Michaela Grace was getting pushed back by Gozer, and she was losing her footing, and you just saw the hand grab the proton pack.
I know,
and help her. Chills, just literal chills when that happened. And even thinking about it, I'm like, amazing. I'm going to watch this again tomorrow with Jake, and I can't wait to get to that point. I am absolutely buzzing. But yeah, I get why people don't like it. I don't agree. Yeah. We've all got our own opinions. We all like things. We all, some people like it, some people don't. Yeah. And it didn't feel tacked on to me. It just it felt okay, in my opinion. I appreciated it, and I think the biggest thing. It felt
genuine.
It did, yeah. It felt like it felt the whole again, and it was sort of confirmed by the ending. The fact that it was for Harold, it was a way of Ghostbusters paying their respects to Harold Ramis, and you could say anything recreating a dead character is them paying respect, but this is Ghostbusters. He's Ghost. It's Ghostbusters. Do you get what I mean? That's the way they're doing it. They were a family. It was a team, and I thought it was absolutely spot on. I thought it was good. Cameos then. So talk about cameos before we get on.
I was going to say that.
Go on, what were you going to say?
Obviously, my first one was going to be about the cameo, because I was going to say we then obviously got to the credits. And when we saw Sigourney Weaver's name, and we were like,
yes,
hang on.
We did.
We haven't seen it yet. Weaver. And this was the point where we were like, okay. I mean, you'd already had, there was more than one post-credit because people had said scenes, plural.
Yes.
But then when the name came up, we were like, well, we definitely haven't seen her yet. That scene, I mean, that was the one scene I think that was for pure nostalgia. Like, that was just funny as hell. So obviously they just did a scene where Sigourney Weaver's sitting there with the psychic cards.
And, the cards with a couple of squiggly lines and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So Bill Murray's trying to guess what they are. He's getting them right. And then she says, "You've marked them, haven't you?" And he's like, "No." And she's like, "You have." And he's like, "Yeah, I have." So she just starts electrocuting him. Shocks. Yeah. It's just so stupid, but so funny. And it was
good though. It was a nice.
On it. Yeah. It was not
a
bad stupid. Like it was funny.
No,
and
it was good.
It was brilliant that she came back, even just to do that one little scene. Like it was just brilliant.
It was showing that he was still with her. I think that was the big payoff. It was because obviously we'd had Ghostbusters 1 where they got together at the end of Ghostbusters 1, and then 5 years later in Ghostbusters 2 they'd split up and got back together. And I think it would have been very easy to think that there's no way those two would be together now. But just that payoff, 30 years that these two are still married, I assume now. I thought it was lovely. I thought it was really good. Yeah. Before we got to the last post-credit scene then, so we had the other 3 cameos. So we picked up on 2 of them last night, but there was a third one. So Muncher the Ghost was voiced by Josh Gad, which was random. But
I loved it. As soon as I found out, I was like, shut up. I literally, that was me seeing the name as it was scrolling up, wasn't it? And I was like, hang on.
Well,
Josh Gad?
Yeah.
Like,
that was
why?
Amazing. And then,
but to be fair, if you were asked, you'd say wouldn't you?
That's what he said last night. Yeah, somebody knocking on your door or rings you and goes, "You want to be in a Ghostbusters movie? Just doing a voice of a ghost." You'd be like, "Yes, I'll do it." Literally, just be standing in the back, do anything. We got so we saw in this movie Ivo Shandor, who was the guy who built Dana's apartment in the not on his own, like he probably had help because it's a big building. But he built he built in his apartment, the first one, and he was the one who was basically trying to cause the apocalypse. I don't know what was happening with the dead body, but it got up when Gozer showed up. He got up, and it was then we noticed for like a split second. We both looked at each other and went, "Is that J.K. Simmons? What is that? Was it?" And it was J.K. Simmons. Again, just literally, he had like 3 seconds of screen time because I'm not convinced when we saw the body it was him because it didn't look anything like him when it was just his body in the coffin.
It did it?
But yeah, so we saw him. We saw him get ripped in half, and then Gozer was Olivia Wilde, which I didn't twig onto.
Remind me, who's that?
She was she's going out with Harry Styles. She was married to Jason Sudeikis. She was in Cowboys vs Aliens with Daniel Craig.
I didn't
and
watch
Tron,
that,
Tron Legacy.
I watched it and don't know what happened in it.
She's quite a big actress. She was in
okay.
She's been in stuff. She's in the OC. I don't know why I know that. Stuff. Why would I know that?
Honestly,
she's been in things.
She's in the OC. She's dating Harry Styles. Stop reading OK Magazine, please.
I know, yeah, that's what literally. I'm the
gay one.
I know. As soon as I saw her name that it was in it, I was like, "Oh yeah, amazing! Yeah, she was in that." And then I thought it said she was in Tron Legacy. And I thought, well, I know her from Cowboys vs Aliens as well. And I thought, there's no way Anthony's going to know this. So I went through her IMDb and I was like, I don't know. I've not seen any of these. Why do I know? Jessica Barry remembers her in the OC. There you go. See in the comments. Thanks, Jessica. But yeah, she was in that. She's a pretty big actress, but yeah, I didn't get onto the fact that was her.
No, I didn't.
I thought, I know we're going back into characters and the movie, but the look of hair Gozer, I didn't think was great in the movie. That it took me out of it a little bit when
whatever
she
the
showed
suit
up.
Was it felt like a bit of a cheap morph suit, if I'm totally honest.
It did.
Because
it was like, what if you buy Gozer off Wish?
Yeah,
it was like if you order a Gozer off Wish, that's what you get. But yeah, do you know what? She was only like in that form for a little bit. When she got like half of the dog ripped out of her, that looked boss. The CG there looked really good, really creepy. Last post credit scene then before we wrap up. So the last post credit scene.
Before
go on.
Before you do that, can we the car? I don't feel like we can finish without talking about Ecto 1.
You didn't know, go on.
That was my childhood. I was obsessed with that car from a young age.
Yeah.
And honestly, the second they started putting that siren on in the film, like I just melted. I was like, this is the best sound I've ever heard in my life. And
for
to
like
hear it
2
again
seconds
after 30
it was
years. On. Oh my God, honestly. It was just so good. And they played it again at the end when I was going over the bridge.
I know. And we got the Ghostbusters music. We got the original
and we did.
Ghostbusters
I love that as well. Not Fallout Boy.
Not Fallout Boy, no. It made me realise though that it sounds really cheesy this, but the big thing, the heart of Ecto 1 from what we remember as kids is the siren. Because even seeing it all the way through the movie, it was great. But the second that siren kicked in, it was 2 seconds. It was on for 2 seconds, and me and you were like literally lunging each other, going, "The siren's going, it's going!" And it was just so good, absolutely.
And it was when Winston was looking at the car, and he was like, "What have they done to you,
what have they done to you?"
And I was like,
and he's exactly, and that perfectly teased up the scene, Anthony.
Well done.
Well done. We're getting good at this, aren't we? We're getting good at this, maybe, kind of. A high five, even though I can't see you. I'd try and do it on the camera, but we'll just make a tit of ourselves.
No, yeah.
One of these. Hey, oh no, the camera's the other way. Anyway, moving on quick. So, post-credit scene. So we've already done the first one with Sigourney Weaver and Bill Murray. So the last post-credit scene was Annie Potts back in the movie, and we see it starts off with like a little, I assume, a deleted scene from the original Ghostbusters.
The original,
of her giving Annie Potts Janine giving Egon a coin from the World Fair and saying it means loads to her, and then he says, "You can't give me that. I might not come back," and she's like, "It's all right, I've got another one at home." So it's not that important to her.
Yeah.
But then we see we see her present day visiting Winston in his huge building where he's running it, and that's where we find out that he's like ultra rich. He's paying Ray's rent for him, and he's basically looking after the Ghostbusters.
He's just covering all the costs, isn't he?
He is basically, and
then it gets announced that
he then wants to. He's going to, because he's loaded. He's basically going to finance the Ghostbusters coming back. So he goes back to the firehouse, which isn't a Starbucks, even though Ray said it was.
Yeah, Ray said it was a Starbucks now and stuff, but then it turns out that he's bought it himself. Unless the only reason that he thinks that is because Winston's told him.
Yeah, or maybe it was the Starbucks and it failed. Pandemic and all that sort of stuff. He's just gone out of business. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe. But yeah, so he's got the firehouse back, and he brings an Ecto-1 and basically rubs sand along it to be like, we're gonna get it fixed, and that's it. That's where it ends.
Well, no, we get a close up of the machine that held all the ghosts, didn't we? And it was blinking.
Yes, we did. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
as if it was like running out of power or something.
It literally pans from the car to the actual machine on the side, and it shows you that the red light is blinking to say that there's something up, and then that's where it ends.
That's where it ends. Yeah. Well, I said this last night. I was like, I'm not sure I want more Ghostbusters, but I kind of do now.
I would be okay with it if it was like. If Phoebe came back and stuff like that, and it was a team of people. However, Winston and stuff is there training them.
Yes. Well, I don't know about training them. I just feel like he'd be in the background.
Yeah. But he's running the show kind of thing. But I just think something like that would be really cool.
But is it okay that if we get that, I don't really want Dan Aykroyd or Bill Murray back? I don't dislike them. No, but I feel like if they then did come back into it, that's when it'd start feeling forced. Whereas I don't feel like with Winston, that would obviously be forced at all. It would completely make sense that he would be there. But I like
Paul's just made a good point, by the way. Don't forget the scene at the police station when he says who you're going to call on a one phone call. That made me howl.
We missed that. We were waiting for that in it. That was the dude who played Shocker in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's in that, yeah. Cameo, sort of.
It made me howl. As soon as he said who you're going to call, I literally just went to you.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Should we do Podfans Assemble?
Let's do it.
Pod
Fans Assemble.
Have you got it?
So, yes.
This is the bit where we normally edit out, but we're live now. We're live. You guys wanted live, so we're doing live.
So obviously we first asked about the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer and asked, did it give too much away? Yeah. So 12% said it showed too much. An overwhelming 85% said it showed just enough. And then we had 3% who said it didn't show enough. I agree with the majority there. I think it showed just enough.
Yeah, I can see where the people who are saying it showed too much are coming from as well, because I suppose some I know some people who just who haven't watched it at all because they don't.
I could have lived without the second trailer.
That. Yeah, I could completely.
So,
but who thinks that it doesn't? Who thinks it doesn't show enough? What do you want? If it's a trailer, it was
Toby and Andrew spot going, "Oh, we're in it.
I'm in it. Just at the very end.
This is my bit." Or just Toby at the end going, "They cut me."
What the shit wasn't I in the trailer?
Like the Tom Holland video that I sent you on TikTok. And he's like, "Where's?" Oh, while he's watching the trailer.
Oh,
he watches the fight scene, and then he goes, "Where?" Yeah. Oh, and then just goes dead quiet, and it's like, "Hey,
it must have been such an effort for him not to ruin that for everybody."
I know, right? So we got Avid Gamer say, "Epic, so hyped for this movie, and I can't wait until we see the 3 Spideys at the end." So he's pretty much got no doubt in his mind.
I think he's pretty much right, yeah.
Yeah, the J-Subs had a great what if, Ori, the X-Men movie final fight also happening at the Statue of Liberty, and if the multiverse collides, and that's how we get mutants in the MCU.
Ooh. That's amazing. Can you
Isn't
imagine?
It? That would be so
can you imagine
good.
Hugh Jackman just jumping through a portal or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
That would be so good. But the thing is, if you think about it, at the end of that X-Men movie, Magneto was using Rogue's powers to turn everybody in the vicinity of the Statue of Liberty into mutants. So imagine if none of the X-Men came through the portal, just that energy, and turned loads of people around the Statue of Liberty into mutants. It's never going to happen, but it'd be good.
That would be good.
I'd quite like that.
We've then got Davey AK saying, well, Tom Holland said he can save everyone, so now I'll rest easy knowing I can absolutely, without a doubt, expect nothing less than exactly that.
Yeah.
Then again, he also said this one won't be fun for fans. Either way, it looks amazing, incredible, and spectacular. I can't wait. I'm not listening to what anybody says anymore. Yeah. Nathan said, was a great trailer, just enough quick cut foolery to make you question what's actually happening. I'm intrigued by the Spidey black suit. It looks a little like his first dark suit inside out.
That's what I said to you.
That was what you said to me, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's it's not confirmed, but the rumors are that he's for some reason going to need to turn his suit inside out. It feels a little bit too simple for me, that though.
Yeah. Alan Hangover says, thought it was in a word amazing and just can't wait to see now.
Yeah.
And we also had Erican saying the trailer, the rest of the MCU, I think that's enough.
What, the trailer is better than the rest of the MCU?
Oh, sorry, yeah. That's what the arrows are for. I can't.
The arrows are for. It's a good job I read these before.
Right. Paul Sears, who's on right now, hi Paul, says, oh my god, that was the trailer I hoped it would be. I haven't been this excited since Endgame, and when Toby and Andrew make their appearance, which I'm sure they will, it will blow the roof off and have the same reaction as Endgame. Hype level is 100. Can't wait for the 15th.
Yeah.
Jessica, who's also on, hi Jessica, says, looks like a big movie. I wasn't actually looking that forward to this one, as not a fan of the mini Iron Man feel of this Spidey, but these last couple of trailers have got me super hyped. Let's hope there's some bigger reveals in the movie. Cough. OG Spider-Man cough.
Rachel, she's right though. It feels it feels like a Spider-Man movie. The others didn't. They did feel like mini Iron Man movies. This feels like a proper. It feels like Spider-Man 2. I know it's because it's got Doc Ock in it, but it really does feel like it's a movie.
People have been calling this Spider-Man Endgame, haven't they?
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good.
I know. And then Rachel, who I think is on as well. Hi, Rachel. Oh my god, I don't think I felt so shocked since the Endgame trailer. I'm in tears. So excited for the film. Everyone's just saying the same thing, really. It's just the excitement in it.
Super hyped. Yeah.
We Needed Road said, really glad they didn't obviously show much more than we already knew. Yes, you can speculate, but as we all know, Marvel edit their trailers creatively.
So then leave random Spider-Man arms hanging in the background as they do.
So then we threw in another poll about Ghostbusters, just so that we know what people's thoughts were. 75% loved it, 8% said it was okay, and we still had 17% that hated it.
Well, I can only assume they're like 14, and they didn't watch the original Ghostbusters movies. No,
who are these old thoughts? Why's my granddad walked in?
Why is this really old dude? Why is Bill Murray, who looks ancient in this, rolling up at the proton?
Why is this old pair flirting with the ghost?
Why is there a theremin?
Yeah,
just doesn't make sense.
Jessica said, I thought it was an entertaining film. The kids nailed it, especially podcast. Yeah, I agree. They think they missed a beat by not playing the Ghostbusters theme for the OG's cameo. Should have been more of a grand entrance than what we got. Do you know what? I maybe not the music, but I agreed that there wasn't as much of a grand entrance as I was expecting. It's just they kind of very quickly walked out of the mist.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there was no
there was no like silhouette of them coming with the backpacks on or something, you know, like you'd seen before. Because I think they did a scene like that with the grids in New York, didn't they? In one of the originals or something. I don't know. I might be chatting shit.
I don't know.
Let's just carry on. Maybe I just made that up in my head. The end was really touching and a great tribute to Harold.
It was.
We had, yeah, I loved it. We had Lewis, who said, I thought he did a terrific job giving a sense of nostalgia to the original fans of the franchise. I personally felt it took a little while to build up, but the storytelling was super well done, so it didn't get boring. Every scene had me engaged. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, amazing.
I mean, Hello said, and I think this one was this on Instagram?
Instagram, this one was, yeah.
Yeah. Hate everything about this film. It wasn't very funny. Every gag and plot point seemed solely in service of the next nostalgic reveal, and it all ended in a relentless, boring CGI ecto-splodge. The surprise appearance was blindingly obvious long before the Twitter spoilers, and that final scene between Murray and Weaver felt tacked on just for one last oh-so-funny gift to the fans. This said, it will probs do a solid box office and do the job of launching a new franchise, but one for kids and not adults like the original.
I disagree with it all. But you're all entitled to your opinion. But I'll let you off because you said ecto-splodge.
Yeah, I was just going to say, tell us how you really feel.
I know.
No, but I mean, it did. I mean, 17% of people. He's obviously one of that 17%.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah,
it's not just him. There's a few people that are. Yeah. So
exactly. Yeah. Each to their own. I do think. Like I said in the review, I think if you've not grown up with Ghostbusters, it would just feel like I think the nostalgia isn't just rammed down your throat, but a lot of, I think, the reason why we loved it so much is because of the nostalgia.
Yeah, definitely.
That's it at the end of the day, isn't it?
Liam Dearden said, I felt Ghostbusters Afterlife was truly for Harold. It's a perfect continuation of the beloved franchise, filled with the iconic heart and soul from the original and sequel. It's a beautiful nostalgic joyride, which I wasn't emotionally prepared for. And then he's put a gif on of the car chasing Muncher.
Yeah, amazing.
Kenneth, who is also on, hi Kenneth, said, so Ghostbusters Afterlife was fun, nostalgic, good time until the last part of the third act, and it really made me irrationally angry, but I am mad about a decision they made. If you see the movie, you will know it. 7 out of 10 for me, purely because of how fun the new cast is and a scene stealing Paul Rudd. Totally agree.
Paul Rudd was boss as well.
Can we just point out, he's just been named the sexiest man. The way he was lying on that rock with the flower in his mouth, with his shirt half ripped, his hair looking a mess, like that should have been the picture on the front of the sexiest man thing, because that was hilarious.
It should have been. Did you hear what his wife said? Did you hear what his wife said when he got announced the sexiest man alive?
No.
She said he's not the sexiest man alive. Keanu Reeves is the sexiest man alive. That's his wife.
Amazing.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Sense of humor.
I know. Creative Control Movie Podcast. It's been a while, but tonight I broke down in tears watching Ghostbusters. Jason Reitman handled this film with such love and care for the characters, the franchise, and the spirit of the original. Something fun and new, but very familiar. Thank you. Go see this movie.
I agree. Go and see it. I'm going to see it again tomorrow.
And then Paul Sears said, just loved it. Was the Ghostbusters film we'd all wanted and a fitting tribute to Harold. Funny, heartwarming and nostalgic, including the music throughout. Casting was brilliant and the cameos just added to a great film. Wasn't prepared for how emotional the ending was, but it was perfect.
Yeah, sound.
And that's everyone.
That was brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for sending in your thoughts and theories. And thanks to the guys in the comments as well, who are just having a proper good convo as we go, which is amazing. Should we do wrap up?
Yeah.
Should we wrap up? Sound okay. So thanks for checking out the show. Don't forget to come back next week for our Hawkeye review. So Hawkeye episodes 1 and 2 is
episode 1 and 2.
Exactly. So we've got 2 episodes. So the episodes of Hawkeye drop on Wednesday next week. So we'll be back to our Thursday night recordings which normally meant us releasing the episodes on a Friday, but we're going to be doing live streaming on a Thursday night from now on. The episode will probably still come out on Apple Podcasts on the Friday. But yeah, if you want to check it out sooner, head over to YouTube. So make sure you subscribed on the YouTube channel, that old YouTube thing. Make sure you subscribed on YouTube so you can see when the show is going to air, or on your
is this where we do that really awkward thing and we're like,
subscribe and like
subscribe below?
No, in a minute, I'll get there in a minute.
Okay.
You can find all our episodes at thatsuperherothing.com, along with links to all of our socials, and sign up for our newsletter there as well. If you've enjoyed the show, please drop us a like. Hang on, my hands, where is it? Please drop us a like and subscribe on YouTube, or leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. If you listen to the podcast there, it does really help us get noticed. It helps us get the show out to more people as well. So it'd be really appreciated. Finally, patron shout-outs. Thanks to Geekinate, Kenneth, Keeper of the Sacred Flame, Stephanie, Richard, and Jessica for supporting the show via the Patreon. It means so much to us. It helps us out massively, seriously. If it wasn't for you guys supporting the show and, funding it and stuff like that, we wouldn't be able to fund the gear that we've got hold of to do the YouTube channel. So it's literally because of you guys supporting us that we're able to do this and expand the show. So honestly, thank you so much. If you'd like to join those guys in supporting us, you can at thatsuperherothing.com/Patreon or patreon.com/thatsuperherothing. Sign up for one of the tiers. There's a few different tiers on there. So you can, if you sign up for the middle tier, which is the superhero tier, you can get access to the bonus podcast, which is Into the Podverse. There's a few episodes on there now. We've got another one that we're going to be recording Sunday. I'm going to do it, we said. Sunday we're going to record it. So me and Anthony last weekend went to Liverpool Comic Con. So that was interesting. Not been to a Comic Con before. So it's basically just us talking to you about the visit there. There's plenty of other episodes already available as well. And if you sign up for the God level tier, then you will also get to take part in the live watch parties. So they are on the last Tuesday of every month. So on the 30th of this month, we are going to be doing Spawn. We did Howard the Duck. I still can't get Howard the Duck out of my head. Still can't. Blech, horrible, weird movie. It's taken over. When we were talking about Catwoman before, I nearly said it's the worst comic book movie ever. It was the worst comic book movie ever until I saw Howard the Duck, and it's just that's why I'm alright with another Catwoman now. But yeah, Howard the Duck was something else. But yeah, we'll be doing Spawn. Anthony's not seen Spawn, so I have years ago. But I think you'll enjoy Spawn. It's good. Other than that, though, guys, I think that's us. That's us for this episode, and that's us for our first live stream. So as always, thank you for listening to the podcast, and thanks for everybody who has joined us on the live stream tonight. And we will see you all next week.
Cheers, guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye.